What's going on, everyone? This is Chris. We're at Best Buy, and they actually have the new Pixel 4 on display and the 4XL. So you can see just a quick size difference between the two. They only have the black, which is a gloss finish on the back, and it has this really nice matte black kind of finish on the side here, which feels really good compared to just standard metal or glossy finish on the side. It adds a lot of good, nice grip to it, and it feels good. It doesn't feel plasticky or anything like that, but here we can see the white power button on the black version, and then the black volume buttons are nice and clicky as well. So we have the smaller Pixel 4 right here, and actually feels really good in the hand. We do have a pretty decent sized top kind of forehead, if you want to call it that, as you can see there. Let me try just changing the wallpaper. So here's the new wallpaper and kind of theming options that they have. So let's go ahead and just choose a light colored theme real quick. That way you can see the bezels a little bit better there. So you can see there is that forehead, and then the chin is kind of not the thinnest. Definitely much thicker than the OnePlus 7 Pro, for example. And so something I noticed when I'm not sure if this is just because it's a retail demo unit, there's no settings button over here like there normally is, so you have to actually find it in the actual app drawer. So we have the dark theme set right now. Colors boosted. There's the ambient EQ, which will change the display based on kind of like the true tone of what Apple does with their MacBooks and things like that. And then we have smooth display, which is the adaptive 90 hertz, which it does seem and feel really smooth. The responsiveness to finger touches is quite nice, actually. But I mean, this is with no apps installed, really like day one sort of performance, which you would expect every phone to be fast and smooth. But overall fluidness, this is much nicer than what the Pixel 3 XL was. Let's check out their Pokemon because there's a radar sensor up here, which is to detect, basically for you to control the phone with your hand. So we can wave our hand in front and it detects it just fine there. And there you go, there's a third one. So this is like the little demo unit to kind of get you used to the air gestures, which allow you to control playback for music, skipping a song, going back, just missing a incoming phone call, for example. So there you go. So I mean, haven't had any issues with it detecting my hand whatsoever compared to MKBHD's video. So one of the complaints that everyone's going to have with this smaller Pixel 4 is just the battery size, with it being a 2800 milliamp hours, which is extremely tiny for a 1080p 90 hertz display with a Snapdragon 855. This is not an 855 Plus, which is unfortunate, unlike some of the other devices such as the ROG Phone 2, the OnePlus 7T Pro, I think, and things like that. So if we take a look at the camera, we do have the new Google camera versions, I think 7.1, with the new UI down at the bottom. And we can see just some of the settings that's right here. So something else, I mean, not going to be I don't know, this seems really laggy, to be honest. The viewfinder looks really, really jittery. So here's that dual exposure that they were talking about. So let's say we focus on that. And we can kind of like really, so it gives you the option to change the highlights and the lowlights and the exposure for that. And we can tap the focus, and then we can then zoom in right there. We can zoom in right there, and that's the 2x optical zoom. We have the bottom firing speaker and a front speaker up top, up there, with also a front-facing camera, which is, I believe, I want to say 12 megapixels, 8 megapixels. I think it's the same as the Pixel 3, regardless. But the 4XL has a Quad HD display, as you'd expect, with it being much bigger. I think I'm kind of liking the smaller size phone. It is pretty considerable size difference, as you can see there. Would have liked to really see the white or the orange color. Here's the new recording app, which allows for live transcriptions and being able to search within your recording. So let's go ahead and test that out. Testing the live recording capability, and then we're going to move over to the transcriptions for live real-time voice-to-text transcriptions. And so far it's doing quite well at depicting my voice and outputting the correct text. We're not going to save that. We're going to go ahead and just save this as test, for example. And then now we should be able to search test, and we can see there is where I said the word test at the beginning of the recording. So this is all done on device, which is pretty sweet. It's actually really helpful for meetings, for classes, for example, if you want to record your entire class, and then you can go back and then search for specific things that the professor said, which would be super nice. Has wireless charging, IP rating as you'd expect for a flagship phone. I'm going to wait on picking one of these up just because Black Friday deals have been always better than day one sales. Interesting that they compare the Pixel 4, 4XL to the 3A and 3XL. They're two completely different devices in terms of price points and the market that they're going after. I don't really seem that's quite a fair comparison. Should have maybe done a 3 to show you the difference of what would be better with an upgraded device. So we do get 6 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs or 128 gig of internal storage, which is a bummer. Would have liked to see a standard of 128 versus 64. There's no original quality of Google Photo backup on this, so they've done away that with compared to previous Pixel devices. So there's no more original quality backup storage. So that's pretty unfortunate there. So there is the front-facing camera. It's not too wide of angle. It's slightly more wide than the Pixel 3, but it's not as wide as the wide-angle front-facing camera. So there's no dual front-facing camera or anything like that. And it zooms in just a little bit when you do portrait mode, for example. Natural face touching. So yeah, all the settings are here now. And we can take a look. You still have all these settings which were normal previously. But when you do go to the rear camera and go to portrait, it no longer does a portrait mode on the standard angled lens. It automatically switches to the telephoto lens. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get a wider field of view when you do a portrait. You are only able to do the telephoto lens. As you can see, it just zoomed in because of that 2x zoom. That was just a quick first look at the Pixel 4, 4XL. Stay tuned for my coverage when I get the device in the coming months. Let me know your all thoughts on this new device from Google. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.